What's good, YouTube? Steel here, and in today's video we're taking on the third of 8 expert solo battles released with Wisdom of Sea and Sky. This video will serve as a guide on how to complete the Kingdra EX expert solo battle while only using fire type Pokemon, as well as all those Pokemon being of 3 diamond or less rarity. Before we begin, I'd like to ask y'all to please consider subscribing, as we'll post all things Pokemon Pocket on this channel. And also, quick reminder that I do stream weekdays starting at 11 p.m. Eastern on both YouTube and Twitch, so feel free to tune in if you want to see more content from me. With that said, let's break down Kingdra EX, which the developers' approach to building Kingdra was rather interesting for me, because although I don't believe Kingdra to be meta relevant in any sense, like it's not seen in tournament play and it's not seen in ranked, I don't think if I were to try to build a Kingdra deck that it would look anything like this. Things to note are Elekid, Double Cyrus, and Sabrina are all cards that are meant to like manipulate the board or just mess with your bench. And when you'll see what strategy we're using today, you'll see how none of that matters. What does matter is Pyukumuku's recoil. Like when it gets knocked out, it deals 50 damage to whatever knocked it out. It has to be in the active zone though. We have to keep that in mind. Or I mean, that's what matters. And then Kingdra, since we are playing an all fire deck, it's swinging for 110. So as long as we keep Pyukumuku out of the active and we stay above 110 HP for the Kingdra, our chances of winning are that much higher. Realistically, there's not much to say about this list because it is strange by all means. What makes it difficult is that on a perfect curve, turn 2, they'll have a Kingdra swinging for 110 with 170 HP. Thus, we have to kind of like remove any ideas or any plans or strategies that require too much buildup, as giving them more time gives them more time to build that, like find that perfect curve. Although it wouldn't be perfect, they find it later, but if you let them find it at all, it's when you start struggling. Thus, we completely abandon strategies like Turtonator that are very reliant on Kiawe, and we abandon any Blaine strategies, as although they are fast, they don't deal enough damage to like remove the problem. Thus, what we're using for this video is Magcargo. Released in Wisdom of Sea and Sky, Magcargo has become quite like the boogeyman in the lower ranks of ranked, as despite its glass cannon approach, it is very good at what it does. As for 2 energies, it's just bombarding the board like a mini Dragonite or a Wugtrio basically. But full transparency, this deck continues to be a glass cannon, and due to us having to follow the rules of only fire types, we can't use some of the strategies that increase consistency that we've seen in ranked. Like we can't play the Savalai and Gladion, however you want to pronounce it, to maximize the chances of finding a Pokemon that you could trade for Pokemon communication. And thus this strategy has a potential of requiring about a handful of attempts, which begs the question, then why use this strategy? And my honest answer is that the Magcargo deck is so fast and one-dimensional that win or lose, it will happen so fast that you could probably take 3 or 4 attempts and finally beat it faster than like a successful one and done attempt from any of my other lists in the past. Nonetheless, I feel like the card choice matters, and despite the straightforward game plan, our trainers are very intentional, as Double Sabrina and Repel are to maximize the playing around the Pyukumuku. Like I mentioned, it knocking it out and it dealing 50 back puts you in range of Kingdra, even Seadra if my math isn't incorrect. So we want to avoid that as much as possible, thus why we play so many ways of like moving their active out of the way. We also max out on healing on both double potion, double PCL, and double cape, just to keep our life as high as possible, so that the early chip damage from like the 40 damage swing from Pyukumuku, the 50 damage swing from a Horsey, we want to be able to heal that up so that when they drop Kingdra, we can survive at least 1 attack from it. Then we have Mars and Red Card, which are to hopefully delay them finding Kingdra. Like if they don't find Kingdra at all, that's best case scenario. So we're able to attack with Magcargo on a board that's full of like low HP basics, as they have Elekid that's at 30, Horseys are at 50, Pyukumuku's like the most at 60, and most of the time we don't even want to knock out Pyukumuku unless it's for game. Iono and Pokemon communication serve as consistency pieces, as it is necessary to find Magcargo, as it's the only win condition. So quite obviously we only play the 1 Pokeball to find Slugma, and then if we're lucky, just ship it back out with Pokecom to find the Magcargo, as it would be our only target. If Slugma's in your hand, like you automatically start Slugma, right? The second Slugma with Pokemon communication guarantees Magcargo, as well as just hard drawing Magcargo. But as always, there will be gameplay to showcase the deck in action. You'll see like certain lines, although it's pretty obvious what you have to do. Just build up Magcargo, swing, and hope it knocks out the right Pokemon. There will be attempts where you completely miss and it's frustrating, but there's also attempts where the Kingdra deck just breaks and it doesn't do anything as well. And if you get lucky and you get that first try, then you'll get this challenge out of the way immediately. Regardless, I hope this video helps, and above all else, stay pro. Alright, going second, which is the dream. Realistically, that's what you're hoping for at all times. We're guaranteed the Slugma, right? So it's not like a big surprise there. Now what we're hoping for is Pokeball. I mean, we always have the Pokeball, right? It's Pcoms or Magcargo straight up. Okay, double Horsey. That's definitely a beatable board. There's the Magcargo. All we gotta hope for is that either that they don't evolve, or if they do, that Magcargo clutches up, basically. Let's see. The good thing is that if they evolve, they can't attack. So it kind of buys us an extra turn. We get to Magcargo twice, essentially. You see Seedra and Kingdra. Okay, so Magcargo's not winning us the game anytime soon, but it also isn't like losing it, right? Red card at this point, like what was it for? I guess we could do it for fun because it's meant to disrupt the evolutions, but all right. So Magcargo here next turn. Like the only way that Kingdra attacks next turn is if Seedra ends up falling. So we're really hoping Magcargo clutches up and just hits Kingdra for as much damage as possible. We'll see. 50, 100 is what I'm hoping for, or just straight up 150. What a godsend! Way to go, Magcargo. It needs to like back it up though. It needs to like redo it now and make sure Kingdra doesn't survive. But that's solid. That's solid. All right. There's many ways where we win this, right? Technically we don't need a Sabrina yet, so let's just go again. Next turn we don't fall to Kingdra in any way, shape, or form. So we get to do this twice. So it's really hard for it to fail, but it wouldn't be the first time it does, right? So okay, beautiful spread. GG's. So what our deck's supposed to do is very consistent. The only issue that does arise is sometimes Magcargo just goes like 150 on Elekid and you lose. But that's realistically, it's a fast enough deck that you should be able to get it right fast enough where you don't get too angry at the amount of times that it'll fail you. At least that's the idea. But as always, we do multiple examples, so let's jump right into that one. All right, and we get to go second again, which is again, like I said, ideal. We open Slugma. Yeah. Pyukumuku. Unfortunate, but also like it's alright, right? Our only goal here is to find Magcargo, and there it is. So Iono's there, Pokecom is there. All those cards are here for consistency reasons, but if we're gonna find it, we're gonna find it, right? It is what it is. Let's see here. All right, so this is just GG's. I feel like this is like a bad example, but it's a realistic example. I'm just playing back to back until I can show y'all how this deck works, and here it is. No amount of like, no matter of the damage spread, there's no way to lose this. But I guess this one's so quick. You know what? Special episode. We'll do a third example. Yeah, you know, let it Pyukumuku do its thing. Yeah. Let's just jump to the third one. Let's go. All right, for the third example, now we're going first this time. So let's see. Thank God we opened Slugma and Magcargo, so that's one less thing to worry about. However, yeah, they do have the advantages they get. Obviously, it takes us longer to build up, so we're gonna find the defensive cards. They get more time to like find the pieces to evolve. We'll hold red card for next turn, so let's go Cape here. And luckily we have 50 HP to heal, so we'll be back to full. And we'll just pass, yeah. So they're gonna hit us for 40. We go back to full. They hit us again for another X amount. It depends on what they end up doing, whether it's the Horsey, whether it's Pyukumuku. They hit us for 40, so let's go double potion. Alright, and as you can see, we're in a position where if they don't evolve their Horsey, it's very likely that we just win, right? Technically, they can't knock us out next turn, so I guess getting in a 20 helps so that Pyukumuku and Horsey are both within 50. So let's do that instead. They're not playing red card, Mars, Iono, nothing like that, so we're fine. Alright. So it all comes down to this, really. We definitely evolve Magcargo. We definitely heal it up. Which at least putting it to 130 means that even if they evolve into Kingdra, like let's say we miss out on the Seedra, the most damage they could do is 110. So let's repel the Pyukumuku out the way. That's why we play Repel, Sabrina, all those cards. It's to get Pyukumuku out the way so that even if we knock it out, we don't take the 50 recoil. I will red card because it's just the correct thing to do. There are 4 cards. Although we could survive a Kingdra, we don't want to see Kingdra. And then now this is the only thing that's out of our control, which is can we land all the damage we need? 100 here, 50 there, we win right now. And he flipped it. Magcargo flipped it, which means we gotta play the roulette one more time. It's first of all, hope they don't evolve, and if they do, we gotta hope we go all out on the damage, right? So he's back to 70, so now we need to hit it for 2. There's Elekid. Elekid's job here for them is to get as much damage as possible, and this is a conflicting position to be in, right? Because if we stay in, we lose to, and not knock out Seadra, we lose. But if we put in Slugma and all the damage goes towards Slugma, we also just lose, right? So mathematically, the chances of hitting the Seadra is higher if there's less Pokemon on the board, right? So let's just do that. The energy doesn't matter. It's just, please don't make me look bad. Come on, let's. And that's what I'm talking about. You see, easy solo battle. Realistically, that could have gone. That's an example. This is not my cleanest example or like deck that I've built for a solo battle. It's just fire hasn't really gotten that oomph really, and I did try Incineroar with Will, and it's sometimes again it happens similar to the metal deck when I tried Cling Clang, that it was just too many pieces that have to come together, from rare candy to finding the Will to finding all pieces. This deck is pretty consistent at finding Magcargo. Then you just gotta roll the dice and hope that Magcargo does the damage correctly. I probably said all this in the intro, so it's just doubling up. But nonetheless, I hope it worked for you. Thank you for watching. This is the third of 8. The rest will be coming soon. And then also, I'll have separate videos for both the whole Lugia and the Lantern event with, challenges with no trainers. That's its own separate video that I will make either in between or in the post. It depends really. I haven't decided yet, but nonetheless, they will be out within the following days, a week at max, I think. But that's enough for me. Again, thank you for watching. Please consider subscribing, and above all else, stay pro.